The movie begins with the successful surgeon Dr. Stephen Strange, patiently awaiting the arrival of his girlfriend, Dr. Christine Palmer, to accompany him to a celebration party held in his honor. Once she joins him, they set off for the event. While en route, the two couples engage in enjoyable conversation, but their journey encounters an obstacle in the form of a slowing truck. Dr. Strange, driving his high-speed car, endeavors to overtake the truck, only to be confronted by another car unexpectedly appearing in his path. However, his swift reflexes enable him to skillfully evade the obstacle. Tragically, however, another car from behind crashes into them, resulting in a devastating car accident. The vehicle loses balance, breaches the road protection, and plummets off a cliff. Astonishingly, Dr. Strange survives the ordeal, but regrettably, his girlfriend Christine does not. Grieving and struggling to cope with the loss, Strange embarks on a quest for answers within the realm of mystic arts. Eventually, he ascends to the status of a master of the mystic arts. After conducting thorough research, he uncovered a potent artifact with the ability to manipulate time and alter timelines, known as the Eye of Agamotto. Upon discovering its existence, he dedicated himself to mastering the manipulation of time. However, he received a warning from Wong and the Ancient One, cautioning him against proceeding, as such actions could potentially damage the fabric of reality. As time progressed, the Ancient One eventually passed away. Unable to forget his beloved girlfriend, Christine, and unwilling to let go of the past, Strange resolved to use the Eye of Agamotto to travel back and prevent the accident. Successfully altering the events, he overjoyed to see Christine again, he expressed his love and happiness, and they embarked on their journey to the party. Amidst enjoyable conversation, his focus on the road remained heightened to prevent the previous accident that claimed Christine's life. Despite his cautious driving, another car crashed into them once more. Devastated by witnessing Christine's death again, Strange found himself compelled to rectify his mistake by returning to the past once more. In this iteration, he decided to take an alternate route to avoid the previous accident. Unfortunately, fate took another tragic turn as an unforeseen circumstance on the new path led to a collision, resulting in Christine's untimely death. In subsequent attempts, he chose different routes and tried various methods, but each time, another tragedy unfolded, leading to Christine's death. Despite his efforts, he found himself trapped in a cycle where no matter how he altered events, Christine met a tragic end in different ways. Finally, he became tired of understanding that he couldn't save her from death. Suddenly, as he was on the verge of giving up, a teleportation portal opened, and the Ancient One arrived. Initially not pleased to see her, Dr. Strange listened as the Ancient One explained the importance of accepting reality and moving on. She emphasized that Christine's death was the absolute point in time, a pivotal event without which he would never have sought answers in the mystic arts or become the Sorcerer Supreme. Despite Dr. Strange's pleas for help, the Ancient One conveyed that the absolute point in time was unchangeable. Erasing Christine's death would prevent him from embarking on his journey, altering the course of his destiny. But he didn't believe that anything was impossible. He clung to the belief that hidden knowledge existed somewhere, a well-guarded secret that could grant him the power to break the absolute point in time. The Ancient One cautioned him that the path he sought would lead to darkness and the end of the universe. However, Strange refused to accept this warning and, against the Ancient One's advice, used the Eye of Agamotto to return to the past and attempt once more. The Ancient One, left with no choice, intervened to prevent him from straying down the wrong path. As he opened the eye, she countered with a powerful spell. Suddenly, he found himself in a jungle, and before him stood a man. Strange attempted to communicate, asking if the man knew the whereabouts of the lost library of Cagliostro. However, the man remained silent and abruptly left to begin his journey without uttering a word to Dr. Strange. Confused, Strange followed the man and discovered a vast ancient building in front of him, the lost library of Cagliostro. Realizing there were no doors to enter the ordinary way, Strange, using his magical abilities, teleported inside. There, he searched for the man he had seen in the jungle. He soon noticed that the building was protected by deadly spells. Breaking through the magical barriers, he attempted to navigate the library. Suddenly, the floor vanished beneath him, and he fell from the building. As he plummeted, the mysterious man appeared, introducing himself as Obeng, the protector of the library of Cagliostro. Curious about breaking the absolute point in time, Strange asked Obeng for information about a man known as Sorcerer Cagliostro, believing he might know the secret. Obeng then guided him to the library, where countless lost books were hidden. Dr. Strange marveled at the extensive collection on towering shelves. After Obeng left, Strange began his search among the books for knowledge related to time manipulation. Finally, after studying the books in the library, he discovered the knowledge he sought. The pages revealed the power required to break an absolute point in time, gaining the necessary strength through the absorption of other beings. He decided to attempt the absorption of a cosmic being. Casting a spell, he opened a portal leading to a dark plane, from which immediately emerged giant tentacles resembling an octopus. Doctor Strange began communicating with the tentacle, expressing his desire to borrow its power. However, the cosmic being seized him, delivering a powerful blow that left him injured. Fortunately, Obeng managed to intervene and save him. Obeng cautioned Doctor Strange, explaining that mystic beings do not bargain their powers, as they are not meant for humanity. Despite the warning, Doctor Strange remained adamant, believing that only the immense power of these beings could break the absolute point in time. Obeng warned him about the dangers of his chosen path, not only for himself but for the entire world. Unyielding, Doctor Strange disagreed with Obeng and was determined to proceed. Rather than seeking to borrow the being's power, he decided to forcefully take it. Starting with a smaller cosmic being, as the creature emerged, he allowed its power to flow into him. The being struggled, but Doctor Strange absorbed its essence into his own body. Doctor Strange, fueled with newfound power, desired even more. He continued to open the realm of mystic beings, absorbing different kinds into his body. With each absorption, he felt more powerful and driven to gain more. As his absorption abilities increased, he began to assimilate larger and more potent beings, growing in strength. Over several years, he relentlessly absorbed and stole the powers of mystic beings, becoming increasingly formidable. Finally, he became powerful enough to confront the giant tentacled creature. As the creature emerged, he forcefully severed its tentacles, dragging it into himself. In an act of ultimate absorption, he assimilated the essence of the most powerful being. As Doctor Strange felt strong enough to sever the absolute point, he discovered Obeng on his deathbed. Surprisingly, centuries had passed since Strange's initial arrival at the lost library of Cagliostro. Despite his magical abilities, Obeng had chosen to age like a regular human. Doctor Strange attempted to use the Eye of Agamotto to reverse Obeng's aging and make him younger, but Obeng declined. He expressed a desire to experience both life and death without interference in the flow of time. Obeng then revealed a startling truth to Doctor Strange: he wasn't a whole man. Two versions of himself coexisted in the sacred timeline. Live in shock to Doctor Strange. The half version of Doctor Strange was back in New York City, seated in the Sanctum Sanctorum. This iteration of Strange, the protector of the Earth, had refrained from using the Eye of Agamotto to resurrect Christine. Doctor Strange, in confusion, stepped outside and observed an unsettling phenomenon. The very fabric of reality was unraveling, and the universe itself seemed to be on the brink of collapse. In his perplexity, a bright and expansive magical portal opened before him. Prepared to defend himself, he was surprised when the soul of the Ancient One surfaced. Doctor Strange questioned her about what was happening, and she revealed that he was the cause of this chaos. The Ancient One explained that during their confrontation when he tried to save Christine and she attempted to stop him, she had used her magic to split the timeline. The universe now faced eradication if Doctor Strange's misguided version attempted to sever the absolute point. Shocked to learn about his own existence as an evil twin, Doctor Strange was left reeling. The Ancient One informed him that if he succeeded in reversing an absolute point in this universe, the resulting temporary paradox would destroy the entire reality. She emphasized that the only one powerful enough to stop him was, in fact, himself. With this revelation, she vanished, leaving Doctor Strange to grapple with the profound responsibility and challenge that lay ahead. Initiating a protective spell with his friend, Doctor Strange worked diligently to shield himself. As they neared completion of the spell, a chilling sound permeated the air, accompanied by the sudden opening of a portal. Doctor Strange was inadvertently drawn into it, finding himself in a dimly lit room. Despite his attempts to escape, the powerful spell protecting the portal rendered all exit routes impassable. Within this dark realm, he observed ominous creatures merging together. Eventually, the sinister version of Doctor Strange approached, revealing that he had brought him there to have a private conversation. The dark counterpart endeavored to persuade his other half to collaborate in resurrecting the love of their lives from the dead. However, Doctor Strange fervently implored his dark self to release Christine, emphasizing the futility of such endeavors. The dark Strange confronted his other self within the car crash scene where Christine had died. He conveyed that their powers were not sufficient individually, as they were diluted and split between them. Only by merging into one could they have the strength to attempt to save her. However, the original Doctor Strange disagreed, sparking a conflict that posed a threat to the entire universe. Growing angrier, the Dark Strange decided to forcefully absorb his counterpart, but the protective spell cast by the other Strange resisted. Fueled by rage, the Dark Strange unleashed his formidable powers, engaging in a massive battle between the two potent beings. Both were formidable opponents, but the Dark Strange, utilizing the mystic beings he had absorbed, proved to be overpowering. With swift movements and powerful maneuvers, the Dark Strange proved too much for his counterpart. Finally, his relentless assault broke through all protective spells. In the end, like the mystic beings he had absorbed, the Dark Strange assimilated his other self, becoming one immensely powerful entity. Now, with the Eye of Agamotto open, Dr. Strange channeled all his power into it, resulting in a massive explosion upon impact. Using the collective power of the mystic beings he had absorbed, he successfully broke the absolute point in time. With his newfound abilities, he pulled the crashed car containing Christine back to life. As Christine awoke, she was startled to see a monstrous figure before her, Dr. Strange transformed into a frightening entity by the power of the mystic beings. Attempting to move away, she recoiled in fear. Dr. Strange, in his altered form, tried to explain his identity. However, the universe persisted in unraveling around them, compressing into smaller and smaller spaces. Dr. Strange found himself in a state of perplexity and desperation as the warnings of the Ancient One unfolded before him. Immediate regret filled him as he witnessed the impending collapse of reality. In a frantic race against the disintegration, he cast a potent spell to halt the universe's contraction. Unfortunately, despite his efforts, the universe contracted further, confining him to an exceedingly small space, a protective pocket where he could barely survive. Amidst the cosmic destruction, Christine continued to dissipate. Despite Dr. Strange's desperate attempts to cling to her, she vanished, leaving him isolated in this diminutive surviving reality. Dr. Strange, now the solitary inhabitant of this compressed space, grappled with the stark reality of his actions, contemplating the profound consequences that echoed in the emptiness around him.